Jaina versus Malfurion.
I must protect the wild.
You asked for it.
Hey guys, I've had to re-record my audio for these videos. Unfortunately, I didn't pick up my voice, so you can see me in the bottom left there, talking away. But I didn't just want to leave the game audio on its own. I wanted to talk about the game a little. So this is a deck I've made. It's essentially an elemental slash frost deck or freeze deck. So a lot of freeze mechanics as well as the elementals. And I threw in the quest just for fun. It does actually win me some games sometimes, and I think there's only barely enough spells to activate the quest. So obviously I get the 2-cost elemental out. There's some elemental synergy from the right hand side here. We've got the Servants of Kalamos, they're the main synergy, as well as the Steam Surgers. Steam Surgers can give me spells that work with this quest, so do these elementals as well. Mana Bind gives me one. I don't think I managed to pull it off, but Mana Bind's kind of one of those spells that would be quite good to try and steal people's quest rewards. But I don't think I pulled that off, unfortunately. Probably just play Frost Elemental here, I'd imagine. So playing against Quest Druid is... I've played a lot of Quest Druid myself. I done a video not long after the expansion came out with the Quest Druid, and it worked occasionally, but most decks are too fast for it, so it doesn't really win a lot of games, unfortunately. So I'm considering the trades here. I'm thinking about pinging the taunt. So if he does trade with the tiger, at least it's only on 1 health and it'll be frozen. And freezing his face also protects my 2-1 from the hero power. Now it's been, as I'm recording the voice right now, it's actually been a long time since I recorded this, so I can't remember how the matches go exactly. And I didn't watch through it before I recorded, so just to keep remember this. So that's quite a big move. It's gotten the quest really fast. And he's just going face because he's got a lot of heavy damage on the board. Unfortunately for him, I just drew my AoE that will freeze everything. Freeze his face as well, so I considered trading just to get a spell that would maybe help me. But I'm more than likely going to be freezing and trading the next turn as well. That's good. So I've got synergy with Freezing Potion or the Frost Elemental. So I could Frost Elemental something and then just trade that into that. So it's not the best trade for him for the 7-4, but he's more likely going to be going face, and then that gives me more opportunities to trade, as well as play Blaze Caller and have his battle cry work. Another stealth minion, he's got his quest finished. So ideally, oh of course it's a minion that he gets, it's not a spell, so Mana Bind wouldn't even work anyway. So it's not looking great for me. I need to trade and freeze. That's probably... Now I'm guessing I considered Blaze Caller the 7-4. I'm surprised I didn't do that actually, because I could have still frozen the 8-8. Not the best spell I could have stolen. So, incorrect order there, he should have attacked with the higher attack minion first. Well, he should have got me on lower health. So fortunately I've got some AoE here, but I can't afford not to freeze them first. Savage Roar actually gives my hero a couple of attack if I need to trade. But more than likely going to be Flame Striking. I think I'm praying now that he plays a 4 health minion and unfortunately plays that. So if he did, I don't think my play would be much different because I can't afford a minion to put on anyway. So I think I'll have to Volcanic Potion. If I were to leave that alive and then hero power, it'd take me down to 1. Wouldn't kill me, but it's pretty close to killing me. And because he's got such little cards in his hand, it's best just to use that. Getting close to completing my quest though. I considered just playing the Savage Roar just to complete the quest, but because it costs 0, there's no rush to get it finished. And I've been quite fortunate here, considering he played his quest reward and his minions cost 0. He drew lots of cards and didn't play anything, so that really confused me. So I decided that it's actually better for me to get a big minion out on the board as well as try and get some card draw rather than play the Servant and then have the battle cry ready for the next turn. I think it's because I've got freezing potions if he plays something. So if I did it the other way around, I'd be able to kill the... I think I would be able to... I wouldn't be able to play Blizzard, so I'd have to kill the 5-5 and freezing potion the 7-7 probably. So I could play the Servant and see what I get, but there's not a lot that's going to save me. I could play a spell like Savage Roar to get the quest and give me an extra turn, so I decided it would be a good idea to play him out.
You require my assistance.
Play him out, play the 2 cheap spells to get the fireballs that I need, and trade into the 7-7 with the ping. So I've got the quest ready. I considered playing Savage Roar, but because I actually have a minion on the board and Time Warp, which would go really well with Savage Roar, decided to keep it. I'm just hoping that he can't kill Archmage, so then I've got Infinity Fireballs. It's fortunate for me, he did actually draw a lot of spells in that turn where he didn't play much. So it's too early to play Time Warp because I've not got enough minions to get out on the board
What to do?
and have an extra attack. And I could really do with drawing an elemental. The chances of that are really high though, because almost half of my cards, more than half of my cards, are an elemental. So I can ping that over 2 turns. Just gotta hope that he can't do 5 damage. Or 4 even with his hero power. But he's used both swipes. So I'm fairly safe. Luckily that's not a high attack minion. So it's not an elemental, unfortunately. So I trade that just in case he's got any buffs. Another Mark of Ishar or something like that. Unfortunately, he's drew another spell. Another removal or something like that. So I get my elemental.
Brothers, heed my voice.
And I might as well use up all my mana. So Savage Roar has some more potential here for extra damage. Drawing more cards. Drawing even more cards. And that's him finished his deck, so he must have some minions. Nothing too impressive. And he drew the card. So he didn't get his legendary till quite late, which is quite lucky for me. It has forced me to use Time Warp, which is probably what I want to do anyway. So the choices here are it's probably either going to be Blazecaller or Steam Surger. It depends what minion I draw in the next turn. So I decide to take that just because it's obviously a big guy with a big battle cry. It'll come in handy. The Steam Surger's not as threatening. So I get Uzruk. Now I'm calculating if I have lethal, so it's I think I've got more than lethal. 6, 13, 19, 21, and then plus that, so yeah, way more than lethal, even the ping as well. I think his deck had way too many spells considering he's a quest druid. He wasn't getting much benefit out of his quest reward.
Jaina versus Liadrin.
My hammer burns with holy fire.
You asked for it.
So it's pretty bad mill. Almost never use that shatter until the late game. It's usually for hard removal. And even worse. So I'm hoping he's playing a slow deck. A lot of paladins, when I recorded this, a lot of paladins were playing either the buff paladins, sometimes with the quest, not very often at all though, but mostly Murloc paladins. seen a lot of Murlocs. So luckily I've drew a turn 4. Just gotta hope that he plays it slow as well. So that's quite good for me. He could have pulled 8 either minion and it would have been fine. That's a nice trade off. I lose the battle cry, but it's still a 6/6 on the board. It's totally fine. I think this is what is undoing is, and he even gives me more cards. Which is hard to say if it was the right choice or not. Depends how bad his hand is. I think he's probably desperately trying to get an Aldor Peacekeeper or something like that. So my deck is quite slow, so I don't mind trading off rather than going face. And it's a Paladin as well, which contains a lot of buff cards. Speaking of. So he's hoping for the trades here. Unfortunately for him, I've got my hard removal. Unfortunately for me, I lose my elemental plays, but the choice is obvious. I don't want to just play an elemental, not being able to afford a ping either, and then lose a minion for free.
Your win. I concede.
And he concedes. It's a short game. Dirty Rat screwed him over. He was potentially thinking I was playing playing some kind of like the traditional mage decks. I would usually be starting my hand off with Mana Worm, Sorcerer's Apprentice, something not too threatening that he could trade easily with. So I wouldn't say it was an incorrect play by him. He just wasn't anticipating my deck, which is pretty unique.
You asked for it.
Oh, it is.
Speaking of mages, so I decide to, just in case I draw higher cost minions, I keep the Steam Surger because that's reasonably cost, and just hope that I draw a low cost elemental. There he is. So it's rare to see another quest mage as well. I wouldn't say quest mages are usually that strong. Funnily enough, I'm playing one. So similar deck to mine so far. So I play this so I can get a combo with the Steam Surger. And if he wants to ping it, then that's going to stop him playing a minion. Well, free cost anyway. But nope, he goes for the... No, he still goes for the ping. So I keep on curve, I get the spell that I want, and then I can play Servant of Calamos next, potentially. So it's interesting that he done that, because he could have pinged it over 2 turns, which telling me that he's potentially going to have a turn 5 play. So it's tempting to go for the higher cost with the freeze, or the elemental with the spell to get my quest done. or the elemental that is essentially card draw. So the Servant of Kalamos is probably the stronger option. Especially if you can keep drawing himself, you're essentially keeping your hand full. So that was his turn 5 play that he wanted to do, potentially. To get his quest done, I'd imagine. So I kind of want to play the Servant, but I can play another elemental and play him next turn. Got a much stronger board presence, but he's got a lot more spells than me. Much bigger chance to get his quest done than me as well. So I'm deciding what to throw out to test the secret. Because I don't really want him to copy the elemental with the spell. And I'm not a huge fan of him copying the volatile elemental either. But it's probably the better option. Especially if it's the turn into a sheep. I wouldn't want to lose the spell from the Shimmer and Tempest.
I'm unstable.
So the question is, do I trade into it or do I ping it and play that Shimmer and Tempest?
Brothers, heed my call.
I decide to play that and I get another one. Now depending on what the secret is as well. Or do I want to get vaporized?
To battle.
And then he wants to trade it because he's gonna it might hit my 1/1, which I would probably prefer. Unfortunately I didn't want it to hit something that would take some its health under 4 in case of Flame Strike, which he's actually fishing for probably. He's gonna get his quest done. I think he just had enough room in his hand. I was kind of hoping he would burn it.
Runs out on me.
That was a pretty bad arcane missiles as well if he's got a blizzard or a flame strike.
Brothers, heed my call.
Just get more card draw, more elementals. So this time I can go for the Baron-Geddon, but he's got such low health he's not great against a mage. I think I go for the Steam Surger if I remember right. I did consider the Igneous Elemental because that would help for Uzruk. But I think after a few games I begin to realise that Uzruk is just not that great. It's hard to anticipate when you want to play him, and card removal very devastating. So a clean trade. I only played one minion with it will be out of range of Flame Strike at least. He wouldn't even be able to ping it, I don't believe. Oh, he would, because he did get it. I think he was waiting on me playing more minions. But that's fine. The Servants of Kalamos were free anyway, so it wasn't a huge loss. So Arcane Missile in my face tells me a lot of things. It tells me he's basically going to try and rush me down. So I'm tempted to play Uzruk just because I would actually get some synergy. Give him some health out of reach. My biggest fear is I'm playing the quest and then managing to to kill me over 2 turns, which is totally not impossible for him.
Crystals! Fresh from Kazakis.
He's fishing for more face damage or potentially more heals. Or something to save him other than Ice Block, which is probably what he's got on right now.
Crystals! Fresh from Kazakis.
Time runs out on me.
So that's put him up to 10 cards, so he's definitely going to burn a card. So I'm kind of scared. I need to try and get something to survive. Keep the board clear. But the Mage is more likely to be killing me with spells than minions. The only minions that are usually run with quest Mage is the giants that are reduced cost with spells played. So fortunately I've got a sheep for that. And I'm playing lots of little
My
elementals
hand is too full.
to get the taunt ready, potentially, for big giants. But I might not even get the chance if he's playing the quest.
Someday I'll be just like you.
He's fishing for more spells to make the giants cheaper and to kill me with.
Time runs out on me.
So see what spell I get. I definitely need to kill that anyway. I'm kind of worried about duplicate, but he's actually holding too many cards to even get 2 copies. So I consider playing the taunt, but I don't know what the secrets are. So the secrets could just like copy the taunt or even sheep the taunt. So I need to fish for a secret that will save me, either Ice Block or
Time runs out on me.
Ice Shield, is it? One that gives me 8 armor. So I don't really mind too much giving him that. So this is good defense against the giants. This is when I realised that I should have
My hand is too full.
pinged them first. But I was a bit rushed because I wasn't exactly sure what spells I'd get. So he could definitely kill me. It's definitely not out of his reach. And here comes the giant, which is immediately turned into a sheep. So I think that might screw over his plans quite a bit. So he's fishing with Kabbalah's Tomb just to see if he can get something that will either save him or kill me. So he's taking the extra turn. So he needs Ice Lance, or 2 Fireballs and a Frostbolt will do it. But I'm guessing he's not been that lucky with his card draw. So he's freezing. He's just trying to survive. But he should see how many cards I've got in my hand. He should know that he's pretty screwed.
Well played.
Pyroblast.
Jaina versus Rexa.
So Hunter this time, getting a nice variation of classes. Pretty easy mill choice here. Might even be able to get the buff for the Cryomancer after the Water Elemental. So there's 2 types of hunters that are most frequent played, and that's Beast Hunter and Quest Hunter. So no quest, so safe to say it's probably going to be some kind of Beast Hunter. And the 1-2 trades nicely with the 1-1s, so I play him. And the coin's included in the quest. So it's a good idea to play the quest first before the coin. So of course we kill the 2-cost guy in case he's got anything that puts a minion back in his hand. And we kill the... well, we kill both the battle cry. So unfortunately he's going to get that buff, potentially. I consider playing this, just if he wants to trade into it then that's fine, but I'm more likely wanting to play Water Elemental. I don't think that's changed, but I want to see what spell I get first. It's a good spell, but it's not going to help me now. It's not looking good. There's a lot of heavy damage coming in. So freezing that rather than just killing the 4-2 actually reduces the amount of damage on the board. And it kind of holds off for AoE. So I freeze that instead of the 4-2 because I want the 4-2. If he decides to trade, I want the 4-2 to trade. Decides to buff it and go face. So I'm pretty screwed here. I've not got any spells that will save me. I've not got enough mana to fish for ice block or anything. I'm just kind of wasting time here because it's not going to save me.
Well played.
So fast decks are definitely my weakness. I even had quite a reasonable start. I think I was too dependent. Well, my deck's too dependent on AoE.
Jaina versus Uther.
I will fight with honor.
You asked for it.
Another paladin. I'm tempted to keep both minions just because it's a kind of curve, and just hope that the paladin plays quite slowly. Just got hope that I draw a low cost elemental in the next 2 turns.
Let the pain speak to me.
May as well use the frostbolt. So at least I've got another turn 4 to play
Out of my
instead of wasting the Steam Surger. It's battle cry. So it's kind of hard to tell what kind of deck I'm playing against now. But luckily it's played in relatively slow. And unfortunately for me, that's quite a scary minion that I can't reach. And I still want to play the Servant of Kalamos, but I'm tempted to ping the taunt just to make sure I get through it.
I wonder.
Or even playing that so I can try and kill the 3/3 the next turn. So that's what I do. So at least I can freeze the taunt, so I can't really trade if he can buff it. He's more than likely going to buff this guy anyway. Vicious Fledging. I've won a few games with him alone. So unfortunately he's got another taunt up. And because I left that 1/1 alive, it managed to happen. It's made it harder to kill. Luckily for me, I have a shatter that I can potentially use against them, but unluckily for me, I can't get through still. So I can't even remember what I do here. I think I might Flame Geyser the 4/7 to get through and play the Water Elemental, because it's still playing an Elemental. Or I can just play the Servant of Kalamos. So I decided it's best just to freeze that and play another way to freeze the 3/6. I don't want to trade the 5/4 in, obviously, because I want to use the 3/1 to kill the 4/4 potentially. So it's a pretty good trade for him, and he's managed to get another taunt up. Fortunately, I can get through. And he's gave it poisonous, which has changed my tactics. So originally I was going to use the free one to kill the 4/4, but I want to keep the free 6 alive. It takes me a while to think about it. Definitely needs to die. And then I still play an elemental. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of deck he's playing. It just seems like a generic control paladin, I guess. Which I definitely appreciate.
Brothers, heed my call.
So I'm tempted by Anomalous just for like a board clear. But Anomalous is really hard to pull off, especially when you can't really play any minions yourself. So I could ping the Knife Juggler over 2 turns, or I could play the Secret. The Secret might actually make him scared to play anything scary. And if he buffs with Kings, then that would be nice to steal.
Not on my watch.
So an easy trade-off for him.
Reporting for duty.
He's just playing his other weapon. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to destroy weapons. So I think I can get better value with Osric. So I decide to go for that trade instead to get rid of the Knife Juggler. Also gives me quite a lot, well, gives me a couple elementals to run with Osric. Osric's not too bad against a paladin. Equality is obviously the biggest pain, as well as there's actually a few things that would be annoying. So I stole a Humility, which is not great. But it's great if he plays a big geek minion, of course. There's better things I could have stolen. So I'm tempted to keep the Humility for Archmage for a free Fireball. I've got a lot of cheap spells here. So I'm kind of fishing for Ice Block or some AoE or just something to help keep me alive. And he's got too much damage on the board, so I don't really have much of a choice here. I want to keep the Freezing Potion for Archmage, but he's more than likely got lethal. It wouldn't be too hard for him to do another 5 damage, is it? 7, 8, 12, yeah, 5 damage.
Let me think.
And if he doesn't trade, then that's better for me for Blizzard.
Reporting for duty.
Unfortunately, I think he does. But he plays lots of low health minions, or a couple even. I'm considering pinging or playing the 2-cost elemental, or playing the Steam Geyser, Steam Surger even. Steam Surger's in range of the weapon, so I think I decided to try and get another spell from this elemental that might be better. If I remember right, I think I might actually play Archmage. Yeah, I knew that was Noble Sacrifice, so...
You require my assistance.
And that's a pretty good draw. Especially combined with Archmage. And then obviously I want to get the free fireballs. And there's no point keeping that when a fireball is essentially the same spell. I mean, that has the potential for doing more damage, but at a higher cost. It's unlikely I'll not want the fireball. So I've done the quest.
Reporting for duty.
Pretty good draw for him. Fortunately, I've got another freeze. So I need to think out how I'm gonna make best use of these elementals. So if I play... I definitely want to get the Servant of Calamos. So that freezes everything, so you can't really trade.
Reporting for duty.
And then I'll have 2 turns next turn potentially.
Brothers, heed my call.
So get that extra turn, get that extra elemental. I'm more than likely going to be playing cheap things, so I don't want to get anomalous. He's not going to activate anyway. And now I'm considering what to trade into. It depends what I draw, or what I want to prioritize.
Someone's out on me.
There's no way I've got lethal. So I just kill that for some reason. I'm not sure why. And I get really lucky here and draw Blizzard. I think I traded that so that I could keep the elemental alive and trade into something else. So I thought about finishing off the minion, but it's frozen, so I don't really need to. So I've got lethal now. It's looking pretty grim for him. I was really lucky to get the Blizzard. The trades would have been a lot more horrible.
Let me
But I think I still would have managed. I would have just had to waste the fireballs.
Well played.
duty.
Okay, thanks for watching guys, that's my elemental deck. Catch you later. Bye.